So I want to just get back to the whole thing. So Granny, and again, some folks in the chat maybe be confused that think we don't know who Granny is. Of course, we know who Granny is. Granny is Miss Adams, right? Is
Right.
Tifany Adams, not the other female involved here. The woman on the left here is Tifany Adams. And apparently, when you look at that photo, and we've been critical of how she looks, she's only 54 years old. She looks a hell of a lot older in that picture. But apparently, she's an affluent woman that owns a ton of land, is a leader in this community, but a hateful, scary individual now that we know is a double murderer, according to her confession. And again, she's innocent until proven guilty, because when I don't say that, people attack me. She's innocent until proven guilty, but we still don't know the cause of death. We have an idea of the cause of death. It's probably gunshot. But in addition, on the scene, a weapon, a hammer, was found next to Veronica's glasses on the ground outside the vehicle. Could there also be blunt trauma? So that's being held back too. We're not being told the cause of death. We know the manner of death is murder, homicide. The cause, we're not being told that yet, Mike.
Yeah, Billy, it may be a combination, because when you see a bloody hammer and blood in the car and blood outside the car, and broken eyeglasses, you know she was struck in the face, in the head, probably numerous times. If that didn't kill her, they had the stun guns ready. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also shot, the bodies at the end when they dumped them in the little culvert that they had dug out. But yeah, there may be multiple, causes of deaths. It might be blunt trauma and shooting, that sort of thing. Yeah, this was a vicious attack. I mean, anybody that would plan to throw an anvil off a road overpass so that when her car was driving underneath it in order to try to get that anvil through the front windshield and cause a fatal car accident or just kill her outright with the anvil, that's concentrated evil. And so I would imagine the anger and the ability to have your way with someone who's already been maybe beaten would bring out the worst. And I think probably there was a savage attack on these women, and their deaths were not, quick and merciful. No, they were probably suffered tremendously. And I hope we get to the bottom of it. And I hope there's enough evidence that the district attorney and the medical examiner can figure out exactly, what the cause or causes of death were, because this kind of case with these two innocent girls, this calls out for justice.
Absolutely. Pim from the chat. Adams is no longer considered an outstanding member of the community after this. She fooled the whole community as to what kind of person she really is. Many wealthy people have committed murder. Pim, yeah, I don't think she's going to go back to her former status if she was a revered member of the community. Phoebe, they said that it was a homicide and immortal wounds. Phoebe, I've never heard the term immortal wounds. Mortal, yes. I've never heard immortal wounds. That could be a mistake in language. Were the kids right there when their mother was murdered, Dorothy Mitter? No, they were not. They were staying with other people. Sharon Lane from the chat. Granny is a vigilante gang leader. Yeah. God's misfits, apparently. And many people, broken hammer was found on the scene, which could be indicative of blunt trauma, right? Annabelle Roma, she confessed. So what's next? There won't be a trial for... No. There will be a trial, Annabelle, because what will happen next is her defense attorney will try to get the confession thrown out. That's the next step. They will try to they'll say the police coerced her. They'll say the police threatened her. They'll say she didn't understand her rights. They didn't read a Miranda. They'll come up with a bunch of reasons why the confession will be thrown out. No, she will still go to trial because this is a death penalty case. The only way she wouldn't go to trial, and I've never heard of anyone confess in a death penalty case because it's just like throwing yourself on the sword. So no, she will definitely take this to trial. But the confession, you don't just take a confession as someone's word. You now match the confession up to the evidence. So if she says, I shot so-and-so twice and I shot so-and-so once, I shot her in the head, I shot her in the chest, you match up the evidence, the confession to the evidence. And that makes the evidence that much more powerful. Mike.
Yeah, Billy, every single person facing really serious charges like this and have made unwisely made incriminating statements, once the attorney gets in the picture, they will always make a motion to exclude that evidence at trial. It happens all the time. Even if the police have her signing a Miranda statement after they read it to her, probably on videotape, and had her sign it, and it was entered into a logbook, and that actually piece of paper actually becomes part of the case file, they will still try to say she didn't understand, even though she speaks English and she lived in this country. And, people say all kinds of things in order to try to get their statements thrown out, because they realize later on, after the attorney talks to them, how unwise it was for them to make those statements. But you know what? I believe in this kind of case, with so many jurisdictions, so many agencies, they did everything according to the book, according to what the requirements were. They dotted every I, crossed every T. This is not a kind of case where they would do something haphazard and foolish. These were professionals, and they did everything right. So people can say whatever they want, that I never said those words. I don't think it's going to go very far, especially, as you say, once you can take those statements and you corroborate them with physical evidence. Then it shows the actual truthfulness and the reliability and the accuracy of those statements at trial. So I
Absolutely.
think she's cooked.
Legal minded friends.